Like, so
Yeah,
that's
he was,
family
yeah,
town.
like, that family coming in, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said, he's seen that. Yeah.
The Garden Center is ready to go.
Yes, sir.
We'll call this, since this is an official call meeting, scheduled meeting of the council, I will call it to order and ask you to call the roll.
Molly and Fun. Here. Alex Bissett.
Here.
Robert Whitley.
Here.
Walter Townsend.
Here.
Dan Crisco.
Here.
Bill Hudson is absent. And Ron Smith.
Yep. So this is, this thing has been sort of like the stock market ticker every time we look for changes.
Yeah.
We want to get it right. We want to, let's then just open up. Are we gonna go, are we looking at this last handout you just gave us first?
Yes, I'm sorry, when I printed it, it didn't print the whole thing, so there's a summary page. And then there should be the revenues tab and expenses tab. And it was a little bit of.
Why don't you, lead off by explaining these two pages, best to your ability, and then we'll start around the table asking questions.
Okay. Actually, there's a document that I've made up to, to talk on that or provide context and talking points. So there is a projected deficit and it's the result of correcting years of understated costs and unrecovered revenue and administrative irregularities that are now being properly documented and addressed. I did go back, Whitney and I both,
Look, I'm gonna interrupt you right there. When you say years, that's confusing to me. What does that mean?
So I know past year that it's applicable. Meaning, for example, I'm not sure why the previous budget was adopted that had a particular number, like for B-poll or meals tax, because when I look at it and when we go through and see exactly what we've brought in the last year, it's nowhere near what the projection was. So I'm not sure if where their numbers came from, but
That's a fair comment. That's a fair comment. So you're saying you're reviewing based on what you've seen over the last year that's come in for that category.
yes. In those particular ones that I just mentioned, sure, the default and the meals tax. And so then it goes on to say meals tax was budgeted at 292 last year. Actual projected collections are approximately 55 to 65. And then we know that there's like approximately $50,000 outstanding balance for meals collection. And federal revenue has also been reduced from 70,000 to 10,000. That $10,000 reflects the only confirmed block safety grant that I'm aware of. And also Albemarle County levy support is budgeted, is accounted for at $87,000.
Just a question. So to go back to the federal, so the federal, if you go back to for several years, is that something that was covering a particular grant? Do we know? So if you look back at the 24, 25, it has that 70 carried forward. So you're saying the 10 comes from what?
The 10 comes from the block grant.
And I suspect the $70,000, Elizabeth, was the ag grant for the purchase of that police car. So the town had to put that $70,000 up first and then was reimbursed through that ag grant. for that
Can you
cost.
guys, yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I suspect that's what that dollar figure is for. I don't think it's a reduction. I think it's a reflection of a grant.
So if we're just, again, trying to look at one number at a time, so the 10 comes from, this is, well, I was looking at,
We started with this document first and small.
yeah, and then we were looking at what the revenue was. That now is 10,000 for the federal government.
And that's 10,000 coming in through the state police grant.
It's a grant, that's right.
And Mr. Briscoe, you're looking at the first page, the general cover sheet.
I'm looking at the proposed budget page. This page.
The voter.
Well, I was comparing it to the
You know,
previous.
fair. This is.
Anyways, thank you. That's helpful because we're just, as we make sure we get the numbers on the same page, so to speak.
So when I came in Friday, we tinkered with a couple things, and the first thing I did was take all those grants and put something on the revenue side as well. So that took down that 235,000 or whatever it was deficit we were looking at by a good amount. So that's 20,000 for the drone, 10,000 for flock, and then there was no revenue for the 87,000 or whatever's coming from the county. So I put that back on the county side on top of the 22,000, which we should clarify with the county if they're going to give us the 22,000 or I think it's 22 that they normally give us,
Right.
as well as the 87,000, or if they're going to just say, hey, here's one chunk, which, would stink. And they didn't say that in the meeting, so I don't think that's what they're going to do, but we should make sure that that's what's happening. What else did we do?
These numbers look like largely different than what I was looking at before. Which just means I'd have to go through them again. So when do we think that things might settle out? Or do you all have more changes you want to make?
So right now, I just want to make sure, and this is just me, obviously, but I would like to make sure that all this is as accurate as possible. Making changes is fine. If we can cut something, great. If we need to add something like the second or the audit we want to have on top of this year's audit, stuff like that. But I want to make sure that's all documented and all these formulas and stuff are what they need to be.
I guess to me, it looks like we went from $112,000 deficit on the budget to 541. No, that's a percentage.
Where you get that from?
I think it was like 230.
230, 79, yeah, 235.79.
I thought
Now I
that
think
was-
we're at, what's the current? Looks
158, is that what it's?
it should be less than. We got it to around like 18,000, but I also took out the $25,000 for capital improvements on the administration building, on this building. There's no project for that. It already has maintenance in the budget. So I didn't know what that was for. If there was a project planned like HVAC or something like that, it was on the old one.
So this has 158 here. Where do you see?
Yeah, the 158.
Where do you see? I'm happy to see much lower.
Well, when I was messing with it the other day, that number was much lower. So we can pick through that. Did you change anything, Elizabeth? From when we met? All right.
because like I was just saying, some of these numbers, and I don't have the version that I provided on Monday, like here in front of me printed out, but some of these numbers did change because there was more optimism, or there was more revenue that was projected.
Okay, so the revenue is adjusted, going, that's,
Right,
Why
and
can't
the
I-
expenses. I remember when, Chief and I met last week, he gave me his proposed budget, I plugged those numbers in.
We finished putting all the equals too.
Yeah, so that number is
Right on.
basically, obviously, so it's, meals tax.
When you say B-pole, is that mentioned in the revenues under a different name?
I think it should be under local to the town.
Local to the town, got it.
And then on the revenue sheet, it's the, first line item.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because this general fund revenues breaks it out into different. Hope y'all can do math in your head.
But it's good to do it if you can. It's better to do it whatever way gets it right.
I think you're right.
Now, on the wheel tax thing, on the vertical piece, if you look at it, it says the reappropriation for 25-26 was $292,000. And then it said the projected end of year was 55. And it says the change is over here 227. Now, is that number changed because people are not paying the meal tax or what?
Yeah, could you explain the meals tax number a little better? How it goes from in previous years to over 200 to whatever it is, 56,000, 65,000?
I guess my question, yeah, like I said, my question is, it says for the year 25-26, the adopted budget for it was $292,000. And then it says for the projected end of year for 25-26 was 55,000.
I'd like to hear it because I'm not.
So
understanding that either.
trying to wonder where is the other 200,000? I mean, is that due to the fact that it's not being paid or?
Not that much, because we know that we're only, well, I guess 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we were over $50,000 in meals tax. So even if we add $50,000 to 55, that still doesn't, we have 6 more weeks until the end of the fiscal
That
year.
number,
It still doesn't come close to what 292.
yeah, but that number, I'm scratching my head like Walker's because 65,000, okay. So we're saying that people smoke more than they eat? Because 68,400 at 40 cents a pack is about the same percentage as at a $5 pack is about the same percentage as a meals tax at, what do we do, 6.5, 7?
This is why budget versus actual would be very helpful.
Because I mean,
I'm telling you what the actual is
Okay,
for
but-
fuel tax and people, so.
but not to say a whole lot here, but you showed us the preliminary number. And that doesn't seem to match that low number. And I'm not gonna say much more about those preliminary numbers,
Okay.
because but you did show it to us in a closed session.
Closed session for the meals tax?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that just doesn't seem to, I mean, at the time, we weren't showing $200,000 difference.
Max, if you-
That's what I think Walter and I are striking our head over.
With, just so we, and just so I say this with you guys, I don't have much, but I'm scratching my head too.
Okay.
We're at the same.
Yeah, it has.
Because we can't be-
There's no way it can
There's
go
been
down.
so
We
much.
can't be smoking more than we're eating.
I had questions, but I don't know if they're still
Well,
relevant,
sorry, go ahead.
because this has changed a lot.
Well, on that one, we did see some sort of numbers in the middle of the year. And it just didn't seem like that. I understand the delinquency issue. But even then, that's 150,000, 100,000 different. It just doesn't, it just seems, I mean, if we had actual numbers on that one, because that's alarming.
Well,
Because I
this-
can't believe it's 7% if you I can't do public math.
Well, this,
We're doing less than $1 million in revenue in the whole town for food.
a way to follow up on what you said is, so if you go back to the previous budgets
Yeah,
and you look and see what we had in those categories, those are like 292,000, was there, or 275. So those are, those numbers, so there's,
21, 22, 22, 23, and
it would seem to be a very excessive underestimate at the moment of that number, which again, I would think,
I think it's easier to look at the actuals. That's my biggest thing is I can't access that.
well, I think what she's saying is she is looking at some of the actuals and there's a discrepancy between what we see numbers here. And I will say, having looked at this even a longer time period, if you go back, 10 years.
well, if you go back to the year 22 to 23, it was 181,000. And then for 23, 24, it jumped up to 275,000.
Well, if you so if you go into the COVID years where it was worse, but then
The
you
COVID year can be,
well, that's in that time frame. But my point would be, even if you go those low numbers, let's just say you even use one of the worst numbers there, 162.
yeah,
That's better than the number we have this year.
right.
So what I would say would be, maybe one way of saying it is we as town councilors are more optimistic than that in terms of, is that what you would say? Or
I would say that's got to be underestimated because if you do that's seven, whatever the number is, 6.5, 7% of all the meals that are sold in this town. You throw out the Mexican place, that you'll never get the money out of.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're saying that people in this town are smoking more than they're eating.
Well, that's a good problem to have
Yeah, that's what
if
it's
it's
saying.
realistic, right?
Smoking more than eating.
Yes.
No, not smoking. Not smoking more than eating, underestimating those numbers
I just think
and
the
trying to
numbers-
find a realistic.
When I see that kind of gap there, I mean, it's a head scratcher and it just doesn't seem.
Well,
Cause I think, man, this is me doing public math, but it's gotta be less than $1 million. I mean, 55,000, that's gotta be what, $850,000 in food that gets sold in this town? That's way under, no, that's not quite right.
Can we pull up the last couple months of meals tax income?
Okay.
Just try to get an average.
Right,
And then
'cause we
project
did
that
see
out.
it at
And
one
we're about to
point.
go into summer too, which is a good time for us.
Yeah.
summer is much higher.
Yes, yeah.
While we're on the subject, I just want to bring this up to all the councils. One thing, when we try to get this budget done, and we're gonna try to make it more accurate, the town's got to come together. We're gonna have to figure out a plan to deal with delinquency on these, some of the meals tax and B-pole license. I would love for the town to be able to take the same approach as some would be a bigger utility. You don't pay your power bill, they cut it off. You don't pay your water bill, they cut it off. So with the town of Scottsville, they do have to, this is just a suggestion. I don't know if we can follow that through the legal channel. But if you apply for a business license and you're delinquent, we can always suspend the business license. And if it's a restaurant, if the business license has been suspended, we make a phone call to the ABC board and say, that's just that place, their license has been suspended. So that,
Is that how we
Then
would
AB
go with this? I mean,
well, here, what I'm saying is this.
okay,
I think the town's been lax. I think we've been so nice. Oh, that's okay. You can pay or whatever. So basically, we have businesses here, just, we don't make a
Good.
payment, that's okay.
I mean, just along your line, I think we got a town administrator that's pursuing it pretty hard.
Right.
And it sounds like she's made great progress with that bead pole, and there's always gonna be some deadlines. And I don't disagree with your point, They need to
Well, my
be more,
thing is-
more enforcement, but it sounds like from our town administrator, I don't know if y'all agree.
Well, I can
But especially for her point about the beef hole being
Yeah.
increased and being caught up. I mean, we're making steps towards that. We've had plenty of meetings where we've told her to go get them.
Well, I think that as far as delinquency, that's absolutely the choice. But what's not being done is any kind of communication with the businesses or just getting a face out there that says, we are the town, we're behind you, but please pay your taxes, that kind of thing. We're more of that town than we are setting it up so that if they miss 1 month, they get their license taken away. I mean, I can't imagine that ABC licenses are easy to get right back. It's not like they're gonna just turn it back on.
I'm still trying to
Maybe I'm
imagine
wrong.
how you can get 10, 15, 20, $25,000 in delinquency. That's a lot.
It
Now,
is a lot,
if
and
that-
there was
if that-
no one asking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know when we have a business at 20, let's say, I'm just throwing a number out. If you're $15,000 delinquent and your meals tax, is that 1 month? Or is that 2 months? Is that 3 months behind? But I mean, what is that?
It gets into a couple months, is I think is what she's talking about. Longer.
Not that that's not important. I think we should try to grind away on this right now
Oh.
and just,
I think it's relevant.
all right.
My
Go ahead.
concern is if we don't put our foot down with some of these businesses and we pass a budget here and all of a sudden we can't meet the budget because we can't get these people to do their due diligence. It's almost in a way pointless to even try to do a budget.
Well, your point is good. What I will say, even going back to what Councilor Angevine is saying is maybe at the moment, both the staff is getting the wind under their wings, so to speak. In other words, there was a gap. They are going after it more diligently. I do think we have the importance of doing it. In terms of this, I would actually say maybe we deal with a budget, but we also need to deal with that. Like, I don't disagree with you. That's important to follow up. But at the moment, like going back to what you said, Roger said that it's being dealt with. So maybe we look at these numbers, but we can't forget it. They're already done. Mr. Boland's been doing it. Chief's been involved.
Revenue side, it looks like it's more than doubled. So I'm gonna assume that that's enforcement on the town administrators. Part of
Well,
the
I will
people.
tell you, one business, it was that gap between the Burks, the town administrator, when that business fell so far behind.
Yeah.
Once town staff realized just how bad it was, it's not just town that's owed money. It's the realtor company up there is owed more than we are in back rents. It had done snowball, no matter the efforts that my office and this office up here tried to get payments, it was a struggle. And we get little pieces at a time, and it was continuous phone calls on their part, my part, and just get a little bit, right? And then they shuttered the doors, didn't tell anyone, wasn't filing the improper paperwork with the meals tax. It was a lot of catch up. If council would remember when we were in that closed door session back many months ago, I think I made the comment then that it was going to take this staff quite a bit of time to untease and untangle everything that was left behind.
Right.
And it is being untangled and teased out, but it is been absolutely. I've seen it on my side. I'll just speak for my opinion, because we've done everything we possibly can to collect the funds, even criminal warrants, and it's been unfazed. I mean, it's just nothing.
And that's just, I mean, when you get into that level, that's using literally the full power of the law. I mean, that's what that's.
And you can talk to the attorney and Ms. Obey. I am absolutely against the police getting involved in tax collection. I just think it's bad business, but this particular company, when you talk about $40,000-$50,000 behind, that's a big problem for the town. And no matter how much conversation we had, you saw no proactive measures on their part to try to make it right. And it left us with no recourse but criminal action.
No, that's helpful. And again, I second your concern. It's more the issue at the moment is I think we follow up on this. Like this is not going anywhere. Like, I mean, we want our town to be walking the line of we want our businesses to be successful. We want them to pay taxes. But it's a fine line of how we do that, not necessarily easy.
Let me interject, the meals tax, I did find, looking at it, I need to adjust that. If I look at what was collected last year, 2025. These are my numbers, so I'm gonna get that correct. Was, 363,000.
That's more than I thought.
Yeah, so more than.
Like I said, those are my numbers,
They're gonna
that's-
check.
I'm gonna check that and, I just plugged into this spreadsheet 300,000 to see what it did to our numbers.
You said 360?
363.
Okay, so this, on this piece of paper I have here, it says the proposed for 25-26 was 750,000.
She even got a good.
$300,750.
Sorry.
So I'm kind of,
So you said it's 360 what you got for last year. Well, on this list that I'm looking right here, it said that the proposed for the meal tax was 300,000. So
20% more.
a lot closer than.
Just based on what I've seen, I would be surprised if it's over 300,000. But I think if we can get a working number and then dig into that a little bit before next Monday's.
I'd go conservative, yeah.
So like 250.
Yeah,
All right.
I know price of gas affects people eating out. Does in my house.
Yeah.
And and you have had one popular restaurant closed. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
so that seems much better number.
Yeah.
A lot better number to put.
One of the things Counselor Angevine just said, and I think she's right about it, is the typical procedure we've had as a town is we would be presented with a proposed budget. And I think at the moment we're sort of finding the holes, but as we find the holes, we need a this from the staff, a proposed budget.
and maybe it needs more time.
But
I don't know. We don't have a whole bunch of time, but if it keeps changing, I can't contribute.
well, the upside of it is if we find money under a rock, so to speak, which we seem to have forgotten, it's good. It's good to know. But that said, that is a very big thing. So one thing I was going to mention, so when you look at this is again using the old one. So the old one has in 21, 22, and 22, it has actual numbers. And then there's all these adopted, reappropriated. I mention it that to come back to what you just said, Elizabeth, if you're working off of an actual number, that's important because that's the main data we haven't had. We haven't had actual numbers. So if we have actual data like that, that's really important for us to know both two things. So you would take that number and then you'd make a projection to us. You think it's going to be 5% higher or 5% lower or whatever you think an informed decision would be off of that. And that's not just for that one. So we clarified the B poll, we clarified the state, I'm sorry, the federal. Where are we on the state, Alex? Do you know, or do you guys know?
I do not. And I was asking Elizabeth about that on a Friday because I'm curious as to where they were getting those state numbers from. As far as what form that comes to the town in. Is that like this? Is it a sales tax? I don't know what form it's coming to the town in. I know we're getting that money. But I don't know where from. It seems to be consistent year over year.
If we knew what we paid, that would be helpful. I'm just gonna keep saying.
I would also say, well, I know you're new, but I haven't seen.
Really all that new, right?
First project.
I haven't seen a budget when council adopted last year's budget, this current budget we're in, I haven't seen numbers since.
Yeah.
So again, I just know unteasing everything is definitely been taken a lot.
Alex,
Well, and then.
it's on here, this has what it is from the state.
Okay, on that older budget.
It's DMV. Well, no, this is another copy from a previous document.
It was a gentleman thing, so, okay. You know, I know what you're saying.
I know I've been operating
Law enforcement.
in the dark from the police department side.
Well, I just feel like.
Not spending money.
Skill games, yeah,
I mean, working with an accounting firm and working on it in the office and all of that, it hasn't got done.
Oh, you see it? You see it?
yeah.
So, I'd like to see that change.
So it looks like this is mostly grants. That's what it looks like.
Okay, so we will have to look into that.
Chief, do you know some of these, any of these? What this, like for this, that is?
Which one, Dan?
Like any of those in the bottom here?
Those,
Have they anything to do with you?
they're all police department. So LPRs, those are the clock cameras, that was that first year, they were 12.5. It was all grant reimbursed. The DCGS, J grants, that was several grants that we had applied for and were successful in getting last year. I'm assuming that's last year's
Yeah.
24, 25, 24, yeah, they were in 24, 25. New computers.
So this is not anything for now. This is past that.
The only two grants right now that we have is the grant for the drone, which is $20,315, all reimbursable. And the LPR cameras,
They would be on there then.
LPR cameras would be 10, and that's all reimbursable. But we
Okay.
want to make sure we put it in there because the town has to put the money down first, and then we get reimbursed.
But do we have them in there? Elizabeth, those two? They're, okay.
So they're gonna go.
They got vetoed by the governor.
Yeah, Alex, that's what he was saying is he made sure that he checked it out, and I double checked it.
The
It was
machine
in
set
the
in the store.
revenue part
And
and an expense part, so it could be.
All the way stays with the merchant.
He had to get vetoed because.
Expense.
Because of those numbers and the county money for the levy was all on the expense side. So now it's
She beat
zero impact
They
essentially
gave
over the total budget.
Yeah.
So
That's what you were saying, I don't know if the
The merchant
will
will
give
give
it
it
back
attached to us.
$20,000, $21,000 on top of the 87.
I think that they would have said something if they are.
Seemed like that.
That would make it what, 100.
Because it's earmarked money, it's specifically for the levy, and I don't
Yeah,
know
probably that.
that they would change it, but we should definitely confirm that before we finalize this.
So those numbers are said to be, already.
And then you're looking at the state revenues right now.
It looks like
and it
that's
looks like
all-
it's just grant
It
stuff,
was-
so we're gonna have to adjust that. Elizabeth and Whitney, on the state revenue side, it looks like it's a lot of grants, so you can put the police drone and flock stuff in there for state revenue,
data, okay.
but we should be very careful about the number we used for that, and I don't know, okay, perfect.
Which does include both of the,
Yes, exactly the two items that the chief just mentioned.
Awesome.
so we don't need to make a change on that?
No, you got it. If you have this up currently, just give me a picture. Could you put in 200,000 for the meals tax revenue? And then show us give us a better picture of the deficit or lack thereof that we have, because it'd be more accurate. And you don't have to save that or anything, just, I don't want to see where it is now.
That's actually, it's funny, I was gonna say, that was the number I was suggesting, thinking myself a while back.
I think it's realistic.
Because if you go look at, you see the other numbers. It's a it's more in the right
Yeah,
ballpark.
and if we have a really good summer and end up with 50,000 more, it'd be awesome. But
There's another number that dropped way down on the spreadsheet here. I don't begin to understand the math and how it gets calculated, but the county sales tax distribution. That was last year 44, this year 4,000.
don't they,
I
is
have,
that the one they do based on, students?
I have no idea.
I think there's something weird. Do you guys know?
If it's a formula of students,
No, the county.
no, the
sales
county
tax.
sales tax.
Is that based on the number of students we have?
Would it stay consistent pretty much though from one year to the next?
Students work.
I could be no,
The
like
town.
children in the town. I'm not sure.
We need to ask.
But I'm totally off base on that, but I know one of them is.
I mean, it goes from 44 to 4,000.
I asked Mike Pruitt that because I heard the taxes that we got received had something to do with the number of children in the school. And when I asked him that, he said that he had never heard of that. So I don't know. Because my point was that the, you know, median age of citizens here in Scottsville is.
On which one?
It's for the general revenue,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
right above the Albemarle County sales tax.
I'm not sure what
Something called
the
East Summons.
summons is.
That was the,
You ask.
Albemarle County sales tax.
that's Albemarle County sales tax. Y'all had, well, there's general fund revenues, it was 44, then it goes to 4,000
Okay.
for proposed. I'm just curious, I mean, if it's money coming from the county, I would think it'd be fairly consistent. I mean, I know sales taxes, people spend more or
And we
less.
Okay.
And I don't know how the county divides that. But if it goes down that much, it's,
Yeah, if we can get in touch with Pruitt on that before.
the county executive, somebody.
Yeah.
It just seems like that would be a consistent, yeah.
Call.
It just seems like a
Stuff they're
more
gonna build.
consistent policy.
Would that fall under the revenue?
We're not gonna see that, any money from that unless we have a real estate tax. The only thing we could get off of that money from the new houses is if we enforce our beat poll, which town administrator's doing good with, on the contractors going into town,
Yep.
which we'll see revenue from, but you won't see it until probably later this year, maybe even next year.
Okay, what is that?
Suggested
36, 38 units,
pay that tax.
Mm-hmm.
and a way you would think that they would have to, for each individual unit, that would be a builder permit, which will go to the county, but I think the town supposed to get a little bit.
Yep, they're supposed to get a business license in the town, and as far as I know, that's been pursued. But you're also working with a big developer, so I don't know that they're too worried about that part of it. If you hunt them down, they'll probably work with you.
It's stuff like that, you get thrown up under the table, and it could be money that the town could use.
Oh, for sure.
I asked him that several months ago, before March. And, he said that they weren't responsible for collecting the, taxes and that it was individually the trades people that would work on the houses.
Right.
So good thing to hunt down for sure, but I don't,
But I would agree with them, ever since they have a business here. Whether, you know, they would have to pay just like the real estate businesses here in town, they. You know, or any other business, they still have to pay based upon their total.
that'll probably come down to where they're headquartered at,
I'm sorry.
where they're headquartered at. If they're doing a bunch of business in Charlottesville, they're not gonna.
They should, as I understand it, if you're ABC plumbing, and you were doing work in Scottsville, you have a contract to be here. And so you should get double taxed. You don't get taxed on what you build in
What you do.
Scottsville,
Yeah.
where you're headquartered, right?
Mhm.
But you should be paying. It's coming from a family of HVAC and plumbers, it is kind of a headache, but it's what you're required to do. Now, yeah, it's up to them. They even tell you that they're out there working, you know?
Yeah.
Or it's like the paving company up there. They try to say they're based out of Richmond, so they don't have to pay.
Well,
Sounds pretty
So,
good.
so my question, and I don't know the answer, would be if they're doing work in Scottsville, they come pave my driveway, they should probably pay some type of tax, I would guess. I don't know. I'm just talking up loud. What's that? You come to try to pave my driveway? What?
Did they say?
No.
So I did talk to.
No, no.
Talk to the,
I knew
several times. I put you in.
And yeah, she keeps claiming.
Yes.
She claims that they
She's
don't
going
do
door to
any
door.
business. Yeah.
No, I need it, but
And she did say that, for their business, that they have very accurate or very, precise records of how many linear feet of asphalt they laid, or maybe square feet, I don't recall, but it was one measurement. And they have to keep track of that, and
they just haven't done any work in Scottsville.
so it's really that. they have
And
to-
I,
It
I haven't
could
had
be.
this conversation yet with Mr. Bowling to say, well, okay, they still have a business here, they park their trucks there, they do whatever, is that still, make them have to pay, business tax?
So I have a question on the,
What do you say about that? Anything?
I haven't talked to him yet about that.
Gotcha.
the transient occupancy tax. Is that actually, you think that's accurate? That is accurate? Okay, good. I know we're having problems getting.
That law getting changed in Virginia, where it goes from the client who owns the Airbnb being responsible to pay your tax, or through the actual Airbnbs up here. So right now, it's kind of, in my opinion, I guess better regulated because Airbnb sends the reports themselves. But if it goes back to your, the owner of the building, they can just claim whatever on the report. So
Okay.
it seems pretty accurate to me right now.
I have a question. One of the things that I've been looking at when I was going through the documents was we had a lot of line items that track different grants and things like that. There are quite a few that are zeroed out now. I didn't know if anybody was going through that and looking to see what we might benefit from as far as a new grant proposal. Because I think it would be worth looking through those to do that. Now, I could certainly do that, or if that's someone else's, area.
Well, grant writing is, I mean, if you have the ability,
I have the ability to write, but I think that after what I've heard about grants, that I can't possibly say that I'm any good at it because I have not written one.
I have written before, but I'm not any.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just saying.
Pretty good at
But it's more a matter of finding, what we qualify for. That's what she's good at.
Well,
Finding,
yeah, and I checked on a couple of them just going online and, oh gosh, I can't even think of an example now, but, I went on there and that same grant is available, if we can find a way to fit in that, that would be a way to get more.
I didn't change the number for the meals tax, add 250 to that.
it's,
We're gonna get 200.
That was
when
okay.
it's gotten them, it's because.
That 250
it's like
is going
he's trying to
to
do
be-
something,
Yeah.
trying to do it.
No, I get that.
660 up
But I
to,
think that the.
Which I'm skeptical of.
More major grants.
That we wouldn't be the deficit, no matter what we're at, because our expenses are super high. I'd be happy if it's not true. We're gonna have to really do
Yeah, we went.
a good projection on the meals
Well, we
tax,
went
I
after
think,
some.
to get this
$100,000
Let's just say
park some years ago, we ended up getting
but if
one that was $90,000. That's what.
guys, it all,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's knock down 50 grand, well, that's why I promised them, he said 250.
Plus Bama works.
yeah.
Even though
They did some stuff.
you add 250 to 660,000, that's a much better number
I
than.
don't think.
It is, and I think if we,
But.
in my, just my head math, which isn't
It
anything
wasn't just
that
music.
should be paid attention to, but I'm looking at a little bit of a deficit, and just the way the math is working in my head, probably like $10,000, $15,000, depending, 20,000, but not 100 some thousand, because we are running pretty tight right now, but
Alex, I was just gonna say that I think here is where you would need to add that 200,000. So that would put that number at, instead of 669,
860.
Mhm.
Okay. And what's the,
bottom line,
yeah,
even
so.
further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calculate. Quick.
Mr. Mayor, we're having this debate over here. Do you have thoughts on it?
I think one reason the meals tax jumped up so much a couple of years ago is we were anticipating a big check from Tiger Fuel every month. So that prompted the council to
71,000.
bump it up where it is. As far as the agencies,
That's saying we're gonna have a $71,000 profit, and I don't.
unfortunately.
Well, don't forget the county tax too.
To the town, members of
I
the
think
check
that's, I don't know where the number is, but it's gotta be. above
every chamber.
Yes,
newsletter for
I'm gonna
the
call
last
them.
couple months, which they get a copy of.
Well, maybe we're in a good position, but
I have
I'll be
pleaded with
surprised if
them.
we are.
They're in arrears, pay their bills.
We're gonna be in the
If they
positive,
need
you mean?
help, come see the tax administrator.
Me
Otherwise, there could be legal
Hey,
action
Whitney,
taken.
Yes, sir.
what is e-summons?
E-summons is the digit ticket, we get
That's gonna
that
help
back
with all
from
the
John
numbers
Finn's
and
office every.
And we're feeling good about
I agree
doubling
on
that.
the legal part, but then again, I also understand that some of the
Well,
other
that's-
counties, like what,
Why, well, geez.
if we go the legal way, what's not the state of the business gonna be like, fine, I'll pay this, but we're out of here. And then all of a sudden, we're,
Well, we have not been keeping a relationship with them, and the last I heard from the businesses were that they were frustrated with no communication, so, you kind of want to reason that out. And I'd hate for that to get worse.
I think that the farmer's market number may come up for next year than it is for this year, because, with the new, this is all hearsay, I guess, but with the new property, acquisition up at Liberty, Corner and all that stuff, it's the Mennonite group, the big time farmers, so they may want to participate in the farmers market. If they do, then that might bring more people in. I hope it does, but And another thing, y'all just keep in mind when we're doing this budget, I had already mentioned this to the chief. He already put out his recommended budget for the next year. I think that the fuel cost on the police department needs to go up, because we need to, right now, we're about $4.34 a gallon. I think we need to do the budget for fuel just $5. I hope we don't get to $5 a gallon, but if we make a budget for $5 a gallon and it doesn't meet it, that's fine. We'll have the extra money
Mhm.
elsewhere.
Mhm.
That's just something we need to keep in mind.
Elizabeth,
Unfortunately, we can't control the fuel, but
I was gonna ask Elizabeth, you guys pay the bills on that Mansfield account for fuel. Is it locked in at a steady price for the year, or does it change
It
with
changes.
prices?
Pretty strict changes. Because the bills, the bills are got different every month.
And I did update the fuel bills for both the police department and the maintenance. The maintenance department is pretty small, but I did factor in the rising fuel costs for that, and also the diesel for the levy system.
Yes.
I was also gonna say, as far as the maintenance and stuff, if fuel costs rise up, I don't think that the town should be, cutting the grass weekly. I mean, I know it's a little bit amount of gas, but over the long run, you do save money. I mean, if gas is gonna be $5 a gallon, I don't want Jam or somebody or a contractor out there cutting grass weekly just to make it look good, because that's just burning through the money that we can put elsewhere.
Mr. Johnson, I will say that I asked about the levy levels, and Mr. Carr said that there are stipulations on how often the grass has to be within a certain height. Cause I was saying, we pay a lot for that, $1,000 and every month, and if you do it, I think for 7 or 8 months, but anyway.
Let me ask you all this, just so I'm gonna be following up on you, Councilor Bissett. So where are any of the other gaps? So we already are gonna have we'll ask the staff again to update a projected budget to us with a couple options. We see revenue, we're gonna increase for the meals tax, minimally up to $200,000. We've clarified the federal, we've clarified the state. What else are we missing?
So I think
So
a good
you
point.
can jump
If
in
you all
and-
want to jump in on the revenues right now and just, I think we hit those pretty good. But if anyone sees anything else sticking out, let's address that now and then let's move to the expenses when we're done with that and just make sure we can get a proposed budget by next Monday. I'm happy with what we've done with the revenue side of things, but if there's anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, if he's checking, anybody else, anything on the revenue?
I mentioned the county sale. They're looking into that one too.
Mr. Mayor, you're gonna start doing concerts and take an offering for the town?
We don't charge, for charge, we'd have to have a music license.
Does the car work on, and that under our revenue?
It's excluded. It's excluded.
It's that.
And to put it in perspective,
Cash
we-
on.
I like the trip to the Bahamas, gotta go.
Yeah. All right.
I have a question for you. Under the line item for the general fund revenue.
Well, that's what we're gonna do
Can you
now with the
explain to me
expenses.
what the vehicle license tax is?
A lot of this changed.
Like, what do you,
Wow,
yeah, what do you want to,
No, I
do you
just
think
need to
you
make sure.
And the town's got,
None of these numbers are the same.
So I'll give us better cut.
You're saying it's hard to
whether-
review.
No, I'm
I
just
was
saying
just wondering
that.
because, DMV seems to be more intent on know what county you in than other than.
Moving out. And I don't know, it's just not getting there, but I will just, remember that I'm new and I will.
I didn't mean that as a slight to in any way. It's just, I think this is your first budget process and I wanted to try to add some
It's not
clarity.
my first budget process, but it's the first time going through these
Right.
budget items that don't really match up
Right.
with last year and not knowing exactly what he did.
The numbers gonna change for the farmer's market.
You're welcome.
I think that it is probably, because it's a low amount of revenue for the town, relatively. I think it's probably wise to just keep it consistent with what it's been, and if it goes up, that's better.
I just say it was 28,000 last year, $700.
Which one?
What was 28,000?
It's the farmer's market.
For the farmer's
Oh.
market, 28, and boom, all of that
Yeah,
now,
that's different.
700.
Good question. Why would we project that lower? Do we
I thought
know?
that was a consistent number. Were you looking at 26,000?
The general
79
fund
was the
revenue,
difference
if you look on the farmer's market
on the
for
revenue.
25, 26, 28, 6, now all of a sudden for next year, it's $700. Which
So
is it?
that $700, is. If we charge like $150 for the first 2 hours. The first 4 hours. So it's been rented, I think, twice this year. That's a close figure. I don't know where that previous number came from.
Why did the market?
Maybe I'm talking about two different things.
24.
Are you talking about separate rentals for the pavilion?
Yes.
And you're talking about the farmer's market itself?
Yes, I'm talking about
Yeah,
the,
it's two different things, sort of. Same building, two different things, I think, if I understand.
This is facility rent fee.
Yeah. 'Cause I could rent it for a birthday party.
Because it,
You should.
Yeah,
I think that would be.
February 30th, that's my birthday.
Okay.
the number that we had as a consistent number, it looks like for several years has been $7,000.
Yeah, so I was looking at the top, I was looking at the farmer's market revenue column.
okay.
Oh, no, just down.
So,
Cost for it is low anyway, and you don't have to have it. Of people using it.
We should.
And I guess that would fall
Let's
back
get
to
some
what you were
people
saying, you
Yeah.
want more
Please.
accurate, up-to-date numbers. Yeah, just.
So the American Tower rental income, that is exactly what they pay, and the victory hall rental income is also an accurate number.
Yeah.
The farmer's market, so I understand now, maybe. Well, there were two different.
Yeah, so it says farmer's market revenue, and down here it says farmer's market facility rental.
Right, so either one, even with the farmer's market in the single time, is not come up to $28,000 or anywhere close.
The numbers though, that we had for revenue from previous budgets had it at 7,000.
Mhm.
This is, unless I'm looking at it wrong, 9,000.
9,330, that what you're
That's-
looking at?
Yeah, this right here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fine number to use if that's, I mean, in the past, that seems fine to me. But that's a different number than what you were talking about with the
Right, right.
rentals.
There's two different line items that talk about farmer's market revenue. That's the way you're talking about,
The parking lot for 2,500, that. So anyway, I think the 9,000 is fine, because that's what it looks.
Well, we're talking about the line item that had 28,000. You're saying that was,
No, there's a line item that's 9,000. This,
yeah, so,
in the previous budgets, I mean, going back several years, it would be set as 7,000. I think we want to be optimistic.
Which document were you just looking at, Mr. Critco?
This particular thing, I think this is fine, the 9, I'm just pointing out that this is just, we were skipping off, we were moving over to expenses, but that one looks fine to me, the revenue. Back to expenses, Alex, sorry.
No, I'm not. I just want to make sure
You
we get
mentioned-
everything.
You mentioned about the building, that you were gonna drop the 25. Is what your one thing.
Yes, on that
Capital
first
improvement.
budget, we got, I think I still have the old one here. We had Nerds Capital,
That's this number here I have circled.
Yeah. 25,000. Is it still on here?
It's on here, yeah. But it could be, as you mentioned, it could be dropped. It's on the proposed.
It is.
Well, that's-
This is under capital improvements expenses, fourth column.
mhm.
That Alex mentioned before, because he's gonna self-fund it, he said, so.
Yes, that's right.
So we had 5 last year projected, and this is 25 projected, but you're saying to drop it. Or would you say take it back to 5?
Take it back to 5 is fine, but I'm not,
what's that? Capital.
That would be, again, coming back.
I mean, you're talking about, are you talking about putting 5,000 in the farmer's market parking lot?
No, this
No,
is capital
municipal
improvements. This is,
Municipal.
yeah, this is looking at what,
where
Gotcha.
is, what page are you on for this? Because I want to see.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
see where I have it circled.
Okay, so that is still in there.
So. But-
I think you're on the old,
What, the one that was the previous?
yeah, I think
Like
the previous.
last week,
So that I don't have,
Yeah.
okay.
That's fine.
So I think that's been taken out of the new one. Let me see here. So this is what I have for expenses. Capital improvement, like here, I don't have it on there. I might be.
No, let's see, we'll find it in something. So what it has here is 1,000, is that right? That's what you have?
Oh, yeah, I have 1,000
Yeah.
on this. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's right, but it's on there. So
so
is that,
the power washing thing that we got, a quote on, is that on this budget?
No.
No.
They
That was
invested
chamber.
They paid for it, that's right, the
No,
canal Friday people.
and then the audit, have you guys added 2 audits to this budget? Because we're gonna have to fund 2 audits. I believe. For last year and for this year.
Yeah.
No, just one audit. This-
Okay.
So let's make sure we add the right amount of money to that.
So we're talking about, that's what we are, right? You're talking about that,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
You double it to 20 is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Pay raises factors, yeah, they are into the proposed, okay. Okay.
Anything else jumping out at you? Just for this up.
We're gonna see.
So you want to make sure that we have a proposed budget by Monday,
Yes,
next Monday?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Will we receive new sheets and things like that before we come here?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, just so, I know there were changes on this one, it would have been nice to be able to look through this before we came in, because they're really very different. So do you all agree to send us updated changes during the week instead of?
Yeah,
waiting
we're
until-
trying, yeah, I think it's just a really fast turnaround, so I mean.
Oh, I know.
She's been working on it even today, so that's why,
No, I get it.
but, yeah, ideally.
Yeah.
Okay, so Monday's the holiday, correct?
So
Tuesday.
Today's the meeting.
So if we had them by Friday, is what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying if I had a chance to
Right.
look through it,
Or Tuesday morning even, if you.
yeah, I could definitely have more questions.
Yeah, so our goal, of course, is to have them to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The audits. Oh, no, it's, yeah.
Well, on the payroll, on the, just still it's a small number, but it says, with the pay raises and there's a matching FICA. That's 7.5% roughly. That number should go up if the payroll's going up, am I wrong?
There was a note on one of them that said they weren't being updated or something like that.
What is it?
There was a note on one of the budget pages that said
Okay,
that we didn't, that they weren't updated. I have no idea why.
So under,
health insurance goes down, that seems odd, but okay.
Yeah, especially since it's gone up so much.
Yeah, mine has, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alex, you were saying.
oh no. Pump station rehab, we have 7,500 under capital improvement. Can we check with Mr. Carr to make sure that that is not something that we can, if that's something we earmark every year for it and they want to maintain that, I think that's wise to do. But if they were going to do that and that work will be covered by the county grant, let's make sure we reappropriate that money
I thought
before.
the 87,000 was supposed to cover everything due.
Yeah, but I don't know what they need every year, if that's gonna be,
I think the 87 is for a specific thing. I don't think it's this.
okay, that's what I was like, let's check
Yeah.
with Mr. Carr.
I would. It's very true that we need to have some reserve to
Set aside for that, yeah.
To cover it. And the one thing I was gonna say also, at least my hope is that our ability is to create a balance, but
Yeah,
we're gonna see a zero on the end. Either that or Counselor Angeline gets the pay raise or whatever in terms of multiplying and stuff.
Did I miss something? The farmer's market parking lot was zero. Is that just,
do we wanna put, this is what we're talking about now, do you wanna do anything with the parking lot?
Well, I don't know who takes care of that. Do we?
Um,
Part of it.
the problem with the farmer's market parking lot? For us to be responsible, unfortunately, I mean, truth of it is, the tavern patron or
Yeah, they go all
they
the
use
way
it more than the
back.
farmer's market.
Yeah,
If you go down there on a Thursday or Friday or Saturday night, I mean, they got completely
It goes all the way back to the memorial.
with big trucks.
I don't. It's not their fault, but it would be nice for them to pitch in on that. Anybody want to ask?
They're not gonna pay their meals tax.
But they need-
It comes in fair.
Yeah,
A lot is not theirs.
I think that instance, we should really go after them. I'm just saying with the town, I think it would be nice to.
What happened to that grant from Blue Ridge?
That was,
Back-
Counselor Heisen was talking about that at one or two of the meetings, and I was
We're
gonna
supposed to
mention
get-
that might still be, right.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jane with the
Chamber.
Chamber of Commerce to reach out to all the business owners, and a lot of the business owners were complaining about having parking and stuff and like that. And so, maybe we could, if the businesses around here want to pitch in, that maybe we could have that lot paved. That might be a one-time fee that not the town can pay for, but the businesses like the state of Tavern and other surrounding businesses want to have a nice place for the patrons to park down there. Asphalt doesn't need to be maintained as much as gravel does. Gravel can, be displayed pretty easy, so. You can basically spend money on everything that is down there, it's just having it expand to different.
I think for what I have seen at this point, I would be interested in seeing what the town staff will create for next week. I'm saying, what else y'all wanna, because we need to see it in. We said 200,000, but it could be more, it could be higher than that, like a projection that we think is. I'm talking about, that's the key number of the revenue of the 200,000. That number influences a lot of stuff.
Does.
So with that, projected 200,000. It changes the total revenues to 795,907.
Don't be wrong. We're getting that there.
That number you had out?
No,
Yeah,
So that's just what.
I had 860.
780.
907.
yeah, I think Alex is adding the 200 to this under general fund
Yeah.
reserve, this paper right here. I think that's where he gets his number.
That's what we just. Alright.
So I don't know.
So I got 860 as the new revenue, and then 789, 803 as our expenses, which leaves us with 71,000 in the black. I don't think that that's going to be accurate, just based on old budgets, but we need to. So basically, the biggest thing is to get as accurate of a projection as we can on the meals tax.
And I don't see new expenditures being added so much in here. When I go through it, I see things might increase in cost,
A cost of living adjustment, if anything.
but
This-
bleeds into FICA, bleeds into other things, gas, things
Yeah.
like that. I only see, we're not breaking out new expenses, it sounds like. I think we're being
That's-
really conservative, and I like your thinking on conservative revenue.
Yeah,
I think we'll be better than.
Mhm.
As far as the revenue comes, the mayor just mentioned that it's gonna be what, the 250th anniversary of this 4th of July?
Yeah.
Can we expect any other revenue in from the 4th, because it's a 250-year thing? I mean, is it too late in the year for us to sit there and, make sure, get James Chamber of Commerce to make sure every particular business pays up front? Because I know sometimes these people just start setting up tents everywhere.
So the frustrating thing on the 4th of July is that it's actually not a big meals tax day for us. I mean, it's bigger than, but it's not as big as you think, because a lot of our restaurants are closed in the morning for the parade.
Beaches are closed the whole
Yeah.
weekend.
Whole weekend.
Mhm.
So
Maine's is-
Here's the funny thing. When I was growing up, I mean, many moons ago, when I was a teenager, you had the whole entire soccer field down there full of vendors.
Mhm.
And you could basically, you would keep the people in the town all day long. Shopping center was the same way.
You're not.
What I've noticed now is the parade's over within an hour, they done found a way to get
Yeah,
shooting people out of town.
I don't think they wanna be here all day long.
Yeah, until 9 p.m.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that as long as we get these corrected, we'll have a proposed budget that we can work with on.
Elizabeth, I've had
I hope so.
in the police department budget, that part-time position. See that it was 23,175 and it went up $10,000. If town council approved even at a 3% increase, my math shows just under 25,000 instead of 336.
Mm.
So that probably could be reduced there.
What's your number 25 what?
Let's see here, the exact number. The exact number was 23,895, so I would say if you left it at, I would say 25
Just.
instead of 33,336.
Well,
Okay.
today.
So that reduces that
So
number.
many of these numbers are. You see what I'm
Where's what I'm
saying?
saying?
So I'm just telling you that I thought.
Did you get that, Elizabeth?
Yes, sir.
It's 25,000.
I made some of the changes, so it's probably not me.
Okay, well, that's why I'm saying this is the same.
Is there anything else we can cover that? Or do you want to hold on? Okay, or Tuesday.
Still have a question about the, back on the revenue side. It shows the farmer's market. And facility rental fees. I don't know what to do with that, because I don't know where $28,600 came from.
Well, you could-
Numbers.
You could probably look at the budget versus actual for 23. That's probably the last year that it was seen. And moving over to 24, but I would just look at older budgets to see what actually came through for that.
Where is that, Elizabeth, on the revenue?
This page here.
The first page of revenue is the third line item down, talking about farmers market revenue, and that's 7,000 across the board.
No, and that's fine,
And then you go down further to
Farmers market.
Farmers market, facility rental fees.
rental fees, and it's 28,600.
Yeah, I
And
figured on where.
that number, even if we looked at what was, if we had a
Does it,
year in 2023. I'm going by exact numbers of how many tents we have rented out there for the seasonal farmers market.
Vendors.
does it show you the cells on the Excel? Like if you click on that 28,000, does it show you where, because it should have where it's drawing those numbers from in the actual document.
No, it doesn't.
All right.
All right.
I would suggest you use this, let's just say you use the 700 till you find out where the 28,000 was.
Yeah.
The whole idea is
If I can
to look
tell
up
you
700,
exactly
with more realistic 28,000.
No, and it does look like if you looked in this current year. Cause it's projected, must have been something recently.
I don't go down to the farmer's market that often. I mean, is it successful or not? Are we having?
You know, we
pretty good
should
turnout?
support that. You should come with me. I go every week.
Well, I don't think
It's doing well.
I don't think it's going to be something that we just had a killer year at the farm. I think it's just probably something in the Excel spreadsheet that's getting
Yeah.
thrown in there from another year. So
Double check the number.
See me, making sure I have the numbers right for the police officers that went back in the APP and looked, and I don't know where that 33,000 came from.
I'm not sure.
So, somebody mentioned, you're gonna check into the billing for the street lights and stuff?
Yes, I did make a note of that, I'm not sure if it came through, but yeah, the LED lights,
I would be interested in which one that is, would they expect the town to cover? And my mind, when we say the town, what comes to my mind is from the funeral home down here to this intersection, from there, down there to the end of the flood wall.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I call that the town. I don't think the town should be paying for any lights that are outside that. Even though even though the Dollar General and all that stuff's in the town limits, I just don't feel like the town should be responsible for paying for street lights out there.
You're right.
And
They pay for yours, don't they?
Yeah, I was trying to
They
get
pay
the
for yours,
age
don't
stuff
they?
figured out today.
I don't
They pay for mine.
We
Mine's
have like
out.
16.
I haven't had it put back in.
we haven't had it. There's one in front of my mom's house, which I thought was covered by the phone company. It hasn't been up. Street lights are, when
Yeah,
they go out, they're out.
yeah.
We have.
Well, they can come by and put a bulb in it. That's what I had them do when I first moved in, and then I realized that I didn't
And
like
believe
it.
it, what a lot of people don't know, Scottsville, is the very end of their thing. They all work out of Lynchburg. So when there's a problem, Scottsville is at the very end of their coverage area. That's why we're the last to get put back on it.
Oh, I didn't even ask. Last time I asked and the town called and got somebody to come out. So that's the only reason why I said that. Okay.
But I feel like, if you can find out what we're paying for, it's not a bad idea. If we have 20 street lights up here, I don't think all 20 of them should be lit up. We'll do half of them, but still be safe. And I mean, I would definitely take chief's recommendation on what he thinks should be lit up or not.
Yeah, that's not necessary.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oriole?
Here, Walter. For sure that.
With the
area
flag
that
in?
you were just talking about.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's.
Now, is that number gonna
Oh.
increase with the new?
Oh, okay.
So I think if we do these changes we talked about today with meals tax and then just going over,
That's usually-
making sure all the numbers are as accurate as we can get them,
Yeah,
contacting the county, contacting Tim Carr,
What street?
and making sure, just even if I'm not a fan of removing any money that he wants or needs, but just make sure it is what he wants and needs.
if we were to be serious about going dark skies, we would want to have things that came down to the
Reviewing the meal tax.
Or get the meals tax.
Put a lot of them up there
Clarifying food.
just because of the ambient lights tonight.
I was just wondering, because I didn't know if the West Village residents, whenever they come there, if they're gonna expect to have lighting to go from there to the town of Scottsville, they're gonna sit there and say, well, we need to be safe walking up and down the road or whatever stuff.
Yeah.
They might, for that kind of information.
Tell them we have
Sure.
a dark sky initiative, and we talked
So-
last year. There you
I
go.
think we
We do,
should.
we do. We're
But-
dark sky.
Mr. Whitney, it's in the utility business, so he doesn't think that cost is gonna be that much.
For a street light, I don't work in that side of the world anyways. I'm over the transmission side.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have a line budget, but it's closer than it was earlier.
So we're gonna agree,
I
we
love
wanna, have the more accurate numbers. And y'all thought, we think it was a good idea to possibly increase the, number for the fuel for the, police department.
Yep, and she raised it by $2,000 already, it looks like. I don't know if that'll be enough. I'm gonna hope that it is. If you wanna see, this is what we're doing right now
If
too.
we come in with a budget in the black, later on in the fiscal year, we can make readjustments as we see expenses coming up. Gas never goes down. There is a capital cost and things like that. And we have scheduled times where we can readjust the budget, even on a motion, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
So as long as we get one passed in time, publicized legal and in the black.
That's good.
Yep, I want it, or as close to that as we can get,
Absolutely.
and it's lying to us right now a little bit about
Yep.
being in the black, I think. But as close as we can get it and then work from there and just getting it voted on.
If
And
we're just a little bit on the positive side, let's look kind of
We've been cutting it the last couple of years.
You think you will be in a position next Monday to have a public hearing on the proposed budget?
No.
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 Okay, so we will discuss it next week. And then we'll have our public hearing and vote on it. That's in June.
Okay, last meeting, we had information given to us on paper and everything, and that was great. And then we got some more this week. I wanted to see if it would be possible for us to send us some papers that will show us what these changes did. And if there are any other changes, okay, because that would be a lot easier than coming into new numbers. So, thank you.
Okay, so are we good for tonight?
I think we're good.
Thank you for leading, basically being the leader of this
No,
project.
not me. Don't put that on me.
Budgets than I am, so appreciate it.
I just hope we get it done. Get it in the black. If it really is a $71,000 surplus, that would be amazing. We can do some stuff. I
Well,
don't.
it's like Roger said, I don't think we're not actually adding anything, we're just trying to.
I don't know, we're bringing in a bare bones budget based off of last year. No, there's no free cotton candy and snow cones. Kind of initiatives. And, you know, I think we used to give the money to charity occasionally in past budgets. I think we've cut all that out, so. We'll bring it in,
I just hope we'll be in a better place
and then we'll see.
for last year.
So have we done all we need to do tonight?
I believe we have.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Do it.
Second.
Aye.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, everybody.
But Alex, if we didn't make it in 25,
We did not.
we did an hour and 25 minutes.